my name is Yvonne. I like to share stories with you guys about spooky, haunted places. And today I am going to start with a haunted hotel in the United Kingdom. And this hotel is actually located in the United Kingdom. So, all the way over here. And it is specifically in Wales in a little town called Neath. And the hotel name is the Castle Hotel. And this hotel is old, it's crazy old. The first part was built back in 1695, so it's over 329 years old. And the first part is right here. This part right here, that you can stay by $75 a night if you want to. Thank you, Google. This part right here was the one that was built in 1695, and it was a coaching basically hotel, and it was used for people who were traveling between the Swansea and Merthyr by stagecoach, meaning by this, like the cars, the little cars pulled by horses back in the 1600s or early in the 1700s too. So this hotel was so famous that somewhere in the 1840s, this addition right here to the left side, this 3-story building was added. And back then, originally, it was known as the Ship and Castle Inn. And somewhere around the 1830s, it changed its name to the Castle Inn. And later, which I don't know exactly when, it changed its name to the Castle Hotel, which is what is known today. And I actually found, God, you guys had to bear with me because I'm completely new to this. So this is how it looks today inside. But this postcard from 1905, I found this little card that show how the hotel looked back in 1905. So it looked like it was just bricks, and at one point it was painted in white. But anyhow, this hotel, besides being very old, is also known for being the birthplace from the Welsh Rugby Union. Apparently, somewhere back in 1881, 11 clubs from rugby came together here and formed the Rugby Union for all Wales. And it is something this hotel is known very much. And right here in this video from Wizard 327, this video is about 7 years old. They were doing like a little tour of the hotel, talking about history and also the spooky ghosts that we later will talk about. It shows the badges of all the rugby teams that participated that day. And here it's like celebrating the 100 years of this union, which is pretty cool. But like I said, this hotel was definitely known, or it is definitely known for being haunted. And there's 2 books that talk about the stories, about the ghost stories that is supposedly happening here. One is Haunted Neath by Robert King, and the next one is Paranormal Wales by Mark Rees. And unfortunately, I haven't seen any actual pictures, like of the supposedly ghosts or EVPs or people performing paranormal investigations in this hotel at all. I haven't seen that. It's just the stories that have been told by people who either stay at the hotel or work at the hotel, and they have been passed through the stories in the books and different sources. And I'm just gonna share them with you. So the first story is about a ghost. It's actually more like a sound that is heard in the restaurant. And the restaurant is located right here. Now, I don't know if the restaurant was always located by here, because apparently where the restaurant is located today used to be where the horses were resting back in the day. So I don't know if it was exactly where the restaurant is or if it's like right in the back, because this building right here, it looks like maybe it was added on later on. So I don't know if the horses used to stay here when the people came to stay in the hotel. But anyhow, it says that sometimes when people are in the hotel and just like taking a little bit of a drink or just eating, they suddenly can hear the sound of horses. And they don't know where it comes from. So people are wondering all the time, where is the sound coming? Like they can definitely hear like a ning, and they don't know where it's coming. So as the story is that it is believed that a ghost from the horses is still there, and it's just still having these residual hunting sounds that people hear. But that's not the only thing that they hear. Sometimes they also hear like a hammer hitting some kind of metal, and they believe that maybe the sound it comes from a blacksmith hammer clanging over and over. Maybe this like blacksmith man was making the horse's shoe. We don't know, but sometimes people hear this sound, but there's nobody making it. In the ballroom, there's another ghost presence. This time, the presence is about a man, a stable hand, which I didn't know what it was, but apparently a stable hand is the man who takes care of the horses. And it's supposed to be seen, this stable man is supposed to be seen in the ballroom just walking like he's still there. It is said that the reason he is still there is because the stable was just underneath. Now, there has been also other full body apparitions of a lady in white, because what place could not be haunted without a lady in white? And apparently she's been seen like walking in the corridors around the hotel for no apparent reason, and we don't know who this lady is, but she is being seen walking in different areas, mostly in the corridors. There's also a lady in black, and this story is a little interesting because she has been seen just like walking down the stairs, and I can imagine this lady wearing like old-fashioned clothing, and just gracing herself. You know how people used to dress up back in the day, just walking down the hallway wearing this beautiful dress. And apparently, as she walks, she goes to the front door, and the doors just open all by themselves. And then she exits the hotel and disappears. So now imagine that. Imagine every time you get closer to the front doors and they open by themselves. I mean, this is an old hotel. I don't know if now they have automatic doors, but imagine just getting close there and all of a sudden you see the door opening by themselves. I've seen this figure, and that's always something that I ask myself, if these ghost apparitions are like ghostly in the sense like you picture something like see through, or if they are actually completely solid and the only reason you know they are ghosts is because they suddenly vanish. That is what is crazy to me. Apparently there's also in this hotel a beautiful green room, or that's how it is described in the books. And in this green room, okay, they see a little boy wearing Edwardian era clothing, and he has been seen just playing, like running around and playing, and he has always been seen near a trap door that led to what used to be the kitchen in the first floor. Now, I don't know if the kitchen is still at the same place, and I don't know if that trap door still exists, but many claim to have seen this little boy's spirit. Have any of you stayed in this hotel, the Castle Hotel in Wales? Now, Another ghost has been seen of a little ghost that she is actually seen floating in the corridors. She is being seen close to room 14 and 15. I think this hotel, if I'm not mistaken, has 30 rooms. So this girl is actually floating above. She doesn't look like she's walking or anything, which probably make it a little more spooky. There's also the ghost of a man who has a beard, and this is what is very unbelievable to me, because these ghosts are described very to the dot, like they're telling you how they look, what they're wearing. And this man, supposedly, this one right here, he has a beard. He's wearing a dark clothes with silver buttons and is hanging on the bar. So he is been seen at the bar several times. So imagine just being at the bar kind of drunk and you see this presence. I mean, maybe you think you're way too drunk. Maybe he just resides in there. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think if you see something like that when you're drinking. That will be a little spooky to me. And then there's also the ghost. Like I said, this is many ghosts in this hotel, but it's also the ghost of a lady with red hair. And she actually likes to be around room 25 and room 26. And she's just like walking down the hallway too. I don't know if she actually has a white dress. This is a representation from ChatGPT because, like I said, there's no actual pictures of any stories. But she is described as having red hair. And in room 4, they haven't seen actually a ghost in this room, to tell you the truth, but they said that sometimes when people are staying in this room, they all of a sudden feel or sometimes see the bed like as if somebody sat in there. You know how the shape of when you sit down in the bed kind of buckles a little bit? So they have seen there. So they think there's a ghost that is actually making that indentation. So kind of like staying right there. And imagine you're laying down and all of a sudden you feel somebody like laying next to you. When you turn around, maybe hoping that it's your spouse, and there's nothing. And also, they hear noises in this room, like a banging noise, like over and over they hear something like hitting something. I don't know what the kind of banging noise it is, but it's a noise that they don't know the source of. So if you have plenty of options if you want to see a spooky story there. There's room 25, 26, room 4, 15, 14. However, okay, one of the most spooky stories and more of the spooky room is actually room 16. In room 16, it's said to be the most haunted room in this hotel. And they believe that it's haunted by a lady. And the story goes that back in the day, there was a chambermaid that became pregnant in 1845. Now, she was not married, okay? So she became pregnant by a husband, a very wealthy husband. And one day when he returned to the hotel, she jumped into the window and started screaming, "Hey, I'm pregnant! I'm pregnant! Would you marry me?" However, the husband was like no paying any attention. He completely ignored her. And he, in fact, just rode off on his horses and left her. And she was so desperate because, I mean, this was the time where you were not supposed to get pregnant if you were not married. So she became so desperate that she hanged herself close to room 16 and like near like a corner near the window. Now there's several things that happen in this area. One is that the corridors over here are always cold, no matter what. I mean, even when the radiators are warm and like warming up the space, this corridor is cold. And they believe it's because of her. And sometimes, when people are standing outside, they see a lady, which they believe is her, like peeking from the window to the outside. This corner, actually, they specify that she's been seen in News Street, and I will show you what News Street is. Let me show you right now. News Street is right here. So thank you, Google Map. So if you see, this is News Street, and they say they see it in the window on the corner, so I'm assuming it's in this corner that she has been seen. She's not the only one that is haunting room 16. Apparently, there's also the ghost of a tenant, I would say. When he was alive, he was constantly complaining about the way the room was arranged. He didn't like it at all. So he apparently died in that room. I don't know why. We don't, like I said, these stories are tales that have been passed through. We don't know if they're real or not, but apparently, sometimes, if the workers move the furniture around for any reason, they will return the next day and the furniture will be back the way it was. And they believe it's the ghost of this guest that he will rearrange the furniture just the way he likes it. What do you guys think? Have you ever stayed in a hotel where things all of a sudden move or fly all around you? Because, I mean, it's not this hotel, but I read some stories where people just all of a sudden see something flying around for no apparent reason. Now, one of the most spooky, I would say, encounters, or I feel like it's spooky on its own, is about a man that has been seen in the pub. The story goes that one day there was a guest who was at the pub and he was just having a drink and reading his newspaper, and he all of a sudden see a pair of feet next to him, right? And he thinks it's another person. So he kind of lowered his newspaper to see who it was. So as he's looking from the feet all the way up, the first thing he noticed though is this guy is dressed a little weird. He's wearing kind of what is described as a 17th century clothing, which was quite odd because that's not the time where this happened. However, as he was looking up, all the way to his face, he realized this person has no face. He has been known as the Headless Cavalier, and I believe he has been seen multiple times. A man without a head, sitting in a lonely pub, just trying to have a drink. Now, like before, like the sound of the horses, which this residual, I think that's residual haunting from the animals, to tell you the truth. Sometimes they also hear the sound of what they describe as being a wolf. And they hear like the buying or shouting and crying, and this happened at the cellar. So let me show you the cellar, and let me go back to this video of this guy. I believe this is where the cellar is, way at the bottom of the hotel. Or maybe it's this right here. Maybe this is the cellar right here. I'm not sure. But one of these spaces is the cellar. And in here, like I say, they have heard a wolf like shouting or crying or baying. Like in the cellar, this wolf is making all this sound and they can hear it. I don't believe they have seen the wolf. But the story is that back in the day, they used to have these European guard dogs. They used to guard the quarters where the servants stay, but also the area where the expensive spirits were stored, with the hope that nobody will steal them. And apparently this spirit of these dogs have never left, and they are still heard today. Then apparently there's a ghost that's known as the Christmas ghost. And this one in particular, it is kind of, what will I say? This ghost The story began in 1998, and apparently it was Christmas Eve. And the pub was about, I was close to tell you the truth. There was only two workers left there, and they were rounding up, cleaning up, and finishing everything before they went home. And they just wanted to go home because it was Christmas Eve. Anyhow, as they were finishing up, they hear this loud noise coming from upstairs. So they went upstairs to check to see where it came from. And what they saw was every single door of the rooms were completely open and all the lights were on. Now, there was not supposed to be absolutely no one there. There was nobody. They was supposed to be in those rooms. However, they still went and checked because what the hell, maybe somebody was there and they just didn't know. But as they checked room by room, they were turning the lights off and closing the door, and there was no one there. So what they did was they called the owner and say, "Hey, this just happened," and the owner was like, "Okay, I'll be right there." So he came to the hotel with his dog, and they went back upstairs to check to make sure there was no one there. And again, every single door of every room was completely open and all the lights were on. And the owner's dog, started acting so ballistically crazy. They didn't know what happened, but he was just going from room to room, acting completely strange. Like there was a presence there that nobody could see, but the dog could sense. Again, they went through each one of the rooms, they closed the door, they turned the lights off, and they couldn't find anyone at all. So that's known as the ghost of Christmas Eve. And apparently it happened again another Christmas. I don't know what year, but it happened again. Now, I found another story about a guest that stayed in the hotel in 2022. And he was just tired. He had a long day. He was staying in room 21 and he was just ready to go to bed. And so he did. As he lay down in his bed, he was startled by this like loud thud sound right above the headboard. It kept sounding right behind him. So he turned around to see what it was, and he realized it could not be his headboard because it was completely fixed to the wall. So he thought, okay, maybe it's the guest next door. Maybe the guest in room 21. So he went back to sleep. And he was kind of on and off sleeping. And every now and then he will hear that sound again. Like I say, he was tired, so he didn't say anything. He didn't complain or anything at all. And the next day, as he was checking out of the hotel, he mentioned that to the front desk. And they say, wait a minute, there was no one in room 21. Now, what was the noise? Nobody really knows. Now, have any of you stayed in that hotel, or have any of you experienced any ghost encounters in this hotel or any hotel that you would like to share? Because I love hearing personal stories of encounters with the paranormal or an unexplicable. I love hearing that. So if you have any stories, please let me know in the comments, and we will see you next time. Let me know which story or which haunted place you would like for me to cover. Again, this is the Castle Hotel, and I hope you like it, and let me know if you really think this hotel is haunted or not. See you guys next time. Bye.